call center rabbit hole, one of truth at a time. Today is Monday. I believe it's October 20th. 20th? Yeah. And it is approximately school zone time. Slow down for the school zone. Oh, it looks like somebody lost a tree over here. Look at that. Brought the lines down and everything. It is approximately 9:15 in the morning. And I want to talk about why I want to make this call center video, or call center documentary, why I'm producing this documentary. And those of you that have watched me, you know, and those of you who've worked in call centers know, but there's millions of people out there who have no idea who they're talking to when they call into a call center, what those employees are experiencing, the abuse that they receive, the atrocious working conditions, the mental and emotional torment that's brought down upon them, unrealistic expectations and guides. And it's really gotten to the place where the world needs to know about this before all the jobs are gone. Because there's millions of people around the world that work in call centers. There's millions of people that do this kind of work to make a living. And in some countries, call center work is considered prestigious. In the Philippines and in India, I believe it's considered to be a very lucrative job that pays better than nursing. But even those people are not treated well. And the entire industry as a whole is just a symptom of a much bigger disease, which is the corporate world, who years ago decided that money and metrics was far more important than true customer service, treating their customers. I mean, the customers are getting the shaft in this too. The customers are getting completely bent over by the corporations in the name of the almighty dollar, or the almighty yen, or the almighty peso, or whatever your currency happens to be. Somewhere in the past, everybody in the corporate world saw the benefits of replacing each of us with robots. Now, I'm not just talking about AI. I mean, they started replacing operators in the call centers or in the bell companies years ago as things became more mechanical. And as time has gone on, more and more people's jobs are replaced, just so these fat cats sitting at the top of the ivory tower, the C-suite guys, can get a bigger paycheck. These corporations get all kinds of tax breaks, they get all kinds of relief from the government, they're catered to, they're pacified, they're taken care of, while the rest of us are losing our jobs and we're begging on the corner for change just to make ends meet. They've made sure to cut the knees out from underneath all the unions, and nobody has any protection anymore. So I want to let the world know that, hey, you know, this isn't just about call centers. This is about the world. The working world is changing quickly, and apparently they want us to think there's nothing we can do. Jesus Christ. These old people on the roads. I'm telling you, it's not going to be some young kid that hits me head down. It's going to be some old fart in his Chevy Cruze that can't figure out how to keep it between the lines. And I've got to get this message out there, and I want to make this a very polished product that the world can see and go, oh, I didn't know that. I really didn't know that customer service reps really get no decent training. I didn't know that. I didn't know they got 2 weeks of training to handle, you know, a load of products, computer systems. I mean, the unrealistic expectations that an adult human is asked to do in a call center is insane. They're taking your product list and, Jesus Christ, what is with everybody? I'll go right over the line. But the amount of information they're expecting a traditional grown man or woman to consume, understand, and regurgitate it's insane. It's inhumane too. And then to get on their back and bitch at them and to write them up and threaten to take their jobs because they can't remember 7,000 different cell phones bodies and how they all operate. I mean, the things I was asked to do at Verizon were just insane. I mean, this was just at the beginning of the cell phone explosion. This was just at the beginning of smartphones. And I didn't know a smartphone from my backside. You know, I'd never had one. Never held one in my hand. And they brought them into class and they showed us. We had the Droid. We didn't have the iPhone yet. And they, you know, you put a Droid in your hand, you've never seen it. And it was like, oh, how do you operate this thing? How do you turn it on? And there's no way you can really know how to do any of that. At least not for me. I'm a very hands-on learner by reading it from a PDF on a computer screen. And that's what they wanted you to do. Somebody called in and said, oh, my XYZ PDQ phone doesn't work. The screen is black. What do I tell you, fucker? Hold on, sir. Let me look that model up. No, I've got no time for that. I'm on a air flight to blah, blah, blah. And you're like, you guys know what I'm talking about. The average person doesn't. The average person hasn't a clue that the person that they're calling and yelling at is just trying their best to get you the information they want. And most of the people that I've sat alongside really want to help you. But they're given impossible circumstances and impossible hurdles to overcome. And it makes no sense. I really, one thing I want to find out in this documentary is I want to find out how it got this bad and why nobody does anything about it. Who came up with the brilliant idea of all of these different things, the metrics, the 7 minutes? Who came up with this idea? The 7-minute talk time. Where was it scientifically proven that the traditional customer service rep should be able to get somebody on and off the phone within 7 minutes, answer their questions, and go on with their day like nothing ever happened? It's just insane. And I would have these discussions with my managers, and I say, well, why 7 minutes? And they say, well, Pete, you have to understand, it's just an average, you know. If your talk time average is 7 minutes, then you're fine. So not every call is going to be 7 minutes, Pete. You have to understand that. And I'd be like, okay, that's fine. But if you have 1 or 2 calls that are 20, 30 minutes long, you're screwed. Your stats are shot for the day, and the boss is standing behind you going, hey, can you come to my desk and talk to me for a minute? I see your talk time's up. The bottom line is this: the humanity has been stripped away from jobs. They want us to be like robots, and we're not. So now they're going to try to replace us with robots, and where are we all supposed to go? What are we supposed to do for a living? What are we supposed to do to buy all the crap that these companies make? These corporations are making, like the people around here at Halloween, they're buying these like 9-foot tall plastic skeletons. These skeletons are like $400. Who's got the extra $400 these days to go out and buy a 9-foot tall plastic skeleton? And yet some company out there, probably Japanese or Korean or Chinese, said, all around I like skeletons. Halloween, we make big skeletons. And we make millions of dollars off their suffering. Yeah, you know. Who needs a 9-foot skeleton? And where are you going to store the damn thing once Halloween's over? This person right here has at least 4 skeletons in their yard. But my point isn't skeletons in Halloween. It's they make crap. These companies, these massive companies make crap. I mean, how many cell phones do we really need? My wife and I have been using the iPhone for like 20 years. Or something like that. It's been forever. Do we really need it? No, I don't really need this phone. Do I really need to sit here and talk to you? Not really. It's nice to be able to write an email in my car or in the doctor's office while I'm waiting for the fancy urologist to get around and stop pulling his pud and talk to me. That's a whole nother story. I'm not going to go down that because I'm talking about call centers, but my urologist is a real piece of work. Good surgeon, great surgeon. He saved my life, but he is not He is not a friendly guy. He is not somebody that really seems to be too particularly concerned with my mental and emotional well-being. And he doesn't want to talk. He just doesn't want to talk, at least not to me. Anyway, so it's imperative that we get this message out there. And when I ask each of you to help me fund this film, I'm not doing it because I'm a greedy fucker. I'm doing it because these films take a lot of money to make. And in order for me to get this out there, I've got to raise some coin to get it produced in the best possible way I can. Now, right now, I'm all by myself. It's basically just me and my wife. And I might have to just hire her, so to speak, show her how to use a camera. Because the people I've met just aren't reliable. Young guys, this is what I don't understand about the young men in this town. They claim they want to work in the movie business. And you tell them to be at some place at this time and they show up half an hour late, well, screw them all. Or the guys that quit in the middle of a production without any notice because they got a better gig in another city. These are young guys that whine and complain because they can't make it in the movie business. Am I the movie business? Yeah, I'm part of it. Am I Hollywood? No. But you just don't get out of college and shoot right to Hollywood. Hollywood's going out of business, my friends. AI is taking a lot of our jobs. So I'm I've got to buy the equipment. I've got a camera. I have 2 cameras. One of them is broken. One of them is a Blackmagic. Well, I have 2 Blackmagic Pocket Cinema cameras that I bought 5 years ago. And I pull one up to shoot footage of my friend Kevin, and I go home, I look at the footage, and there's black spots all over the footage. And it turns out that this Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera is predispositioned to get mold under a glass plate that covers a sensor. I think it's called an IR plate. And I keep my cameras locked up in a cabinet. How it got moldy, I have no idea. So one camera, it's only useful if you open the aperture wide. You can't see the spots for some reason. But if you close it down all the way to like f16, these spots are just everywhere and the footage is useless. So I've got one camera that's basically useless. Anyway, to replace the camera to get it fixed will cost a fortune. It's another thing. These corporations that make these cameras get you coming and going. Everything is so expensive. So when I ask for money, it's not because I'm being greedy or I'm trying to make a buck off you. I'm asking for $5,000 total. That's not a lot of money. That'll barely pay for anything. But if I go out there and ask for $50,000, people can see, they go, oh, he wants $50,000. He must think he's all that in a bag of chips. Look, I'm not your traditional guy. I'm not your traditional producer, polished. I'm going to sit here and try to pull one over on you. I'm just not, and I never have been on this channel. There's a message I want to get out there. It's very important that it gets out there. And unfortunately, it costs money. And I'd rather hire somebody if I can than have to use AI. Sure, I could use AI for some of my call center shots, but I don't want to do that. Oh, there's one of those 9 foot and a 9 foot tall skeleton and a dog skeleton. A dog skeleton the size of, here's a cop. Hello, copper. There he is. Good spot. These cops out here park in really good places. Really do. He's come cruising like a shark. And the lady behind me in her fancy Mercedes was tailgating me for a little bit. And then she saw that I slowed down. She's like, oh, maybe I better slow down. There's a police officer out there. Oh, got money, got a Mercedes. I have no respect for people. I just don't. Your average individual. These are the same people that call into the call center screaming and yelling about shit that doesn't even matter. I don't know. Is that him? Did he take off? He can't be coming after me. Well, he'll pull me over before he pulls Miss Mercedes over. No, that's not him. Hello, I'm Mr. Mercedes. The people that drop cash on their cars, man. You can't buy a car now for under $30,000. My mom's house that she bought that I lived in with her, and I lived in that house until 1997. That house cost her $30,000 in 1978. $30,000. Now a car is $30,000 to $40,000, and a house is $300,000 to $400,000. Somebody tell me how that makes sense. These corporations are bending us over at every chance they get. They're bending us over backwards, and we're supposed to thank them for it. Nobody can afford to live. People can't keep their jobs. This isn't just hyperbole. This isn't just me screaming. You're all being raped. Each and every one of you, each and every one of us, we're being completely raped by these sadistic bastards that run the show. And we all just sit there and go, oh, we'll figure out a way to buy a car. We'll figure it out. Look at the old broad in the Mercedes behind me. Yeah, I got my pole malls and my Mercedes. I'm all set. She probably got a frou-frou dog too. She's gonna jump out here on the park. I'm headed to the park to go for a ride. Go for a walk, I mean. She's probably gonna jump out with some little ankle biter bitch dog. They're gonna be started on these people. Yeah, we just sit around and we take our frustrations out in the park, call center rep who's just trying to make a living. And the average person hasn't a clue. And they have no idea how poorly treated most employees are today. And don't get me started on how bad the nurses are treated. I'm telling you right now, I am pro-nurse because I have met so many nurses that hate their jobs because the doctors are a-holes, and it's a horrible to earn a living in a hospital. These poor, mostly women, still mostly women. There's a few men that are nurses. But I tell you, I think a lot of these young ladies get into this because they think they're going to be like Florence Nightingale or Florence Henderson? No, it's Florence Nightingale. Florence Henderson. She is following me all the way. I bet you she's going to the same place I'm going. So this documentary is going to be a little bit, I guess I'm the protagonist in it. Because right now I don't have anybody else's story to tell. And my story's, I guess that's a pretty good one. Maybe I can spice it up a bit. But, yeah, she's going to follow me down here, isn't she? See, I know somebody that's got a Mercedes SUV, and I've seen her in my neighborhood for some reason. I don't know. She went straight. Like a little paranoid, thinking like, why is this woman that I kind of know in my neighborhood in a Mercedes? Because there's no reason for her to be here. She lives like 15 miles away from me. But you know, everybody gets taken, and it's the greed, the mad passion to make as much money as possible, so the people that own these places can sit on some island with. Well, we know what people do on islands now, don't we? I don't need to go into detail about what these big wigs, these big shots do with all their money. And it's everywhere. There's a hospital here in Cleveland. There's two big hospitals here. There's university hospitals, and there's the Cleveland Clinic. And the Cleveland Clinic and the university hospitals have run around and bought up all the other hospitals, just like the telecom companies did. Just like, you know, everybody's buying everybody out. It's like this weird corporate war. So the clinic has gone around to make lots of money. They've bought up all the little hospitals in the area, along with UH has as well. And it seems that their primary goal is no longer good care. It's no longer about compassion and anything like that. It's all about how many hospitals can we buy, how big can we get, how much money can we make. Because when I went in for my procedure in June, I didn't get compassion. I got compassion from maybe one or two people. My doctor showed no compassion. The only person that really showed me any true compassion and spoke to me was my anesthesiologist, and I don't know her name. And I should have sent her flowers. It would be a sexist thing to do in this day and age, probably getting me a lawsuit. He sent me flowers. He must think he can woo me with flowers. I mean, she was amazing. She took care of me. And another nurse. There was another nurse there. There was a a nurse that was in post-op. A woman from, I think she was from South Africa. I might be wrong. But she was a very nice, well, she tried to be nice, but you could tell she was just done being, it had nothing to do with me, but she did not want to be there. And I tried to talk to her, and she even said, sometimes I have PTSD, working here. And I'm like, oh, Jesus. Because I think what they do, the corporations are banking on the fact that these big hospital corporations are banking on the fact that the young ladies have seen TV shows like the show Emergency or ER, or some romanticized movie about being a nurse, and they think, oh, they're going to come here, think it's going to be so much fun. But I think women nurses, any nurse, male or female, they don't realize what kind of a disgusting, gruesome job it is. There's nothing romantic about being a nurse. Yeah, you're helping some people, but you're also dealing with their life and their death and their pain, and it's not for everybody. Anyway, these corporations are taking over, whether it's call centers or factories or it's the auto industry. They've been doing this for 40, 50 years, trying to find a cheaper way to make their crappy products. They're shipping all of our jobs offshore, or now what they can't ship offshore, they're turning to AI to do the jobs. And it's a travesty. And now all the call center jobs are being threatened to be removed from existence because the fat cats at the top can put a bot into a computer and it'll take 1,000 calls an hour or something like that. They take gobs of amounts of calls, and they no longer need the head count. So what are we all going to do? Where's everybody going to work? I've got a degree, but nobody cares. I'm telling you guys, your college degrees are useless. Nobody cares that I have a degree. Nobody cares that I have 20 years of call center experience, and I have telecom experience, and I have filmmaking experience. And people will say to me, well, you're just not selling yourself right. No, that's bullshit. Look at my work. Here I am. This is my background. Hire me. No. It's not good enough. You didn't package it right in front of the 20-year-old HR person who thinks she knows about life. That's what gets me when you walk into these businesses, and the people that interview you in some cases are like a third of your age. How in the world does a 20-year-old have the ability to accurately assess my abilities to work in their company? They don't. They're fresh out of college. They have no idea what they're doing. They still have acne in some cases. And they're trying to tell me, oh, I'm sorry, you haven't worked in a call center in 10 years. Technology has changed. Like, what kind of an ageist statement is that? I know more about technology than many people my age. I don't know many people my age that even give a crap about computers and smartphones. So I'm making this documentary because I've had enough. I've had enough, and people have got to know about this before. Well, I don't know if it's going to stop all the jobs being taken, but maybe it'll wake some people up if I can get a wide distribution of this film. The chance of that happening, I don't know. Depends on the connections I'm making connections with people. And I'm a little bit nervous about it because I'm polished. I can be polished. I can put on the corporate face and say all the nice things, but it's not me. And I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be the kiss ass who doesn't swear and always puts on a tie and shaves every day. That's all horse crap. It's all a costume. And I've made some really good connections. I've got my fingers crossed. There's 2 people I've met. And I'm hoping I'm going to try to ask them to collaborate with me a little bit on this production. They're both extremely busy people. And the likelihood of them collaborating with me, like one-on-one, and producing this film is probably very slim. but they would be quintessential to this getting out there and getting some push. And I'm telling you, when I get on these projects, I'm like a dog with a bone. I'm not going to let this go. And it's exhausting. This is all I think about now. I write all the time. I'm constantly working on ideas. I'm trying to get fundraising done now. Now I'm at the park I'm at. I'm trying to coordinate with their park department to get me to do man on the street interviews here in the park, because it's a safe, well, it should be safe place to do man on the street interviews. Because if I do it in downtown Cleveland, I run the risk of getting jumped and somebody taking my cameras. And that's no lie. There's shootings in downtown Cleveland all the time. People are getting mugged and shot left and right in downtown Cleveland now. It used to be, it's never been really safe, but it's getting worse. So I'm trying to get that. That's my next step, is trying to get the man on the street interviews where I ask people, hey, what do you think when you call into a call center? You know, did you know that the people you talk to only get 2 weeks of training? They'll say, oh, fuck you, buddy. Or they'll say, no, I didn't know that. Tell me more. Or, you know, I'll come up with something. So I'm going to walk. Getting behind me. Oh, Jesus. The Browns won yesterday, and everybody here is orgasmic about it. Like, they beat, basically, it was like 2 high school teams on the field that day. The Dolphins and the Browns are like really, really bad high school teams, and the one high school team was better than the other, and they won. I don't know if the Browns will win another game the rest of the season. This team, from the top to the bottom, is just a disaster. But everyone is here like, oh, they beat them 31-6. Oh, let's drink another Bud Light, Billy. Oh no, please. I'm telling you, I don't like sports anymore. I'm really, really not liking sports, because you know what? This series between the Blue Jays and the Mariners is so scripted. I think it's going to a game 6. I think. And of course, it's going to a game 6, because they're going to milk as much money out of it as they can to keep the people that are betting on the games and the people watching on the edge of their seats. Those of us anybody who cares about the Mariners or the Blue Jays, other than the people in Seattle and Toronto. We watched a little bit of it. My wife more so than me. But, you know, it's all rigged. I think it's rigged. I think they somehow rig it to stretch these series out, because they would lose millions of dollars if it was over in 4 games, right? It's just so obvious. It's so obvious. They stretch these out for as long as they can to milk as much money out of it from the advertising dollars and everything else. All right, guys, I'm going to go. I will talk to y'all later. Bye.